We are unspinning today's political headlines with our analyst, Bill McCoshen, partner at Michael Best Strategies, and Mike Brown, Deputy Director of A Better Wisconsin Together. Today, of course, the president visited Wisconsin for the third time in 2023. Mike, what does this say about the importance of Wisconsin heading into the presidential election year?
Sure. I mean, much like it has been for several election cycles now, Wisconsin is going to be a critically important state. I expect we will see many more presidential and vice presidential visits over the next year. I think the president did a really good job today of laying out accomplishments that he has made, specifically in Milwaukee, like small business creation, rises in jobs, rises in wages, help with prescription drug costs. He also laid out things that he's going to do for the community, specifically lead pipes, replacement of lead pipes, which is a critical health issue, and more investments in economic development in a business corridor in Milwaukee. And then he also made a little bit of a contrast. You know, I mean, he was not proposing any book bans. He was not pledging to be a day one dictator. And he was not talking, ominously about immigrants poisoning the blood of our nation. So I think he really laid out in a smart and effective way what he's done, what he proposes to do, and that all-important contrast with the likely Republican nominee, Donald Trump.
And so your thoughts on what Mike said, but in addition also, I want to talk Republican strategy heading into the new year too.
So where we agree is Wisconsin will be important for both sides, and you're going to see a lot of presidential visits, you're going to see a lot of GOP visits, and you have the RNC convention here in July. So Wisconsin's going to be a top-tier state, if not a top 3, a top 5 state for sure. We hope the president keeps coming back because his Biden economics or Bidenomics term is not working. It's disconnected with voters. Voters aren't giving him credit for anything economically, not giving him any credit for foreign affairs, for the border. His poll numbers continue to decline. Last poll in Marquette Law School had him down 2 points here, but that was now 6 weeks ago. And my guess is it's either even or the Republican may be actually in the lead here. So keep coming back. Biden doesn't hurt us a bit.
So much more we could talk about, and we will in our digital extra Unspun at 5:30. But I want to also ask about this big decision to come out of the Colorado Supreme Court last night, essentially disqualified Donald Trump as a presidential candidate under the U.S. Constitution's insurrection clause. It removed him from the state's presidential primary ballot. This issue is coming up in other states as well. Do you expect similar findings, and what do you expect the Supreme Court to do?
I think the Supreme Court will throw this out. 16 states have already looked at this, including our neighboring state of Minnesota, who's far more liberal than Wisconsin and maybe even more liberal than Colorado, and they rejected it. I think the U.S. Supreme Court will reject this sometime in the next 10 days. But what they are doing, liberal justices and liberals in general, they're helping Donald Trump. He gets stronger every time something like this happens. People view it as unfair. I mean, the voters should get to choose their candidate, not justices of state Supreme Courts. So the more Democrats do this to Donald Trump, whether it's 91 indictments or now trying to knock him off the ballot, the stronger he gets. So I think they ought to be careful what they're wish for here.
Does that concern you?
I mean, the Constitution, the 14th Amendment, is pretty clear. If you engaged in an insurrection, you are barred from holding public office.
That it would include a trial, right?
Well, I mean, we'll see how this goes. I mean, engaged in is a word that will obviously be something we're going to hear a lot about for the next several weeks. But also, let's remember what Donald Trump did. I mean, you know, he was at the center of a conspiracy to replace the electors of the Electoral College with fake electors. And we've seen that here in Wisconsin. He incited a violent mob to storm the Capitol on the day that those electors were to be counted. You know, there has to be some accountability for what was clearly an attempt to undermine the peaceful transfer of presidential power after he lost the election. So will he be kept off the Colorado ballot? We'll see. I mean, this is obviously something that's going to be continued to be litigated.
Accountability is coming in November. Be careful what you wish for.
A lot to talk about between now and then. Happy holidays to both of you.
Happy
Hard to
holidays.
believe that I'm saying that I will see you in 2024. Yeah. But we'll see them for the Digital Extra at 5:30, and you can watch that on our website, WMTV15news.com.